hard to know how we ever got along without computers and cell phones, and those smart people have nothing to do with them. Which is probably wise in some ways, because it's hard to get away. It's hard to get away from work. It's hard to get away from family. It's hard to get away just to be quiet and peaceful. But a whole group of young people has now emerged that never knew a world without these tools. We live in a world where the wisdom of the past is easily eroded by the latest offer for our loyalty. Are we really happy captives of the new technologies? To whom do we belong? The Deuteronomy reading provides an important perspective on pastoral care. There is the giving of the first fruit of the harvest, and then a reading of the story of liberation. These are inseparable in the story, suggesting that the meaning of one, Thanksgiving, frames the meaning of the other, reading of God's acts of liberation. What happens to a people's sense of self and history when their priorities are organized around material possessions and shifting market values? They may no longer know why they give thanks or to whom they give it. Their identity as Creator's people delivered from bondage may be lost, so that certain acts of thanksgiving become meaningless. Hence, today's scripture is relevant to an understanding of ourselves. As human beings who are the subjects of Creator's continual care and creative love, the story today may help counter the illusion that we can deliver or save ourselves through our own technologies. Deuteronomy knows that when a people forget their past, they lose their present and future. And this means that creeds and stories are part of the church's collective memory. Celebration and recitation are ways we shape our identity as people of God. Thanksgiving is an invitation to look at our identity by reenacting the well-founded events that mark the Christian story. There are three important themes that we discover here. First, experiencing and expressing gratitude. Have you ever known people who don't say thank you or express a sense of gratitude for the things done for or given to them? Some live as if they are entitled to the generosity of others. Thanksgiving is an opportunity to reverse this way of being in the world. It's a time to take stock of our life and that of the community, to remember the undeserved good that has come our way, and to regret the wrongs we have done. In this way, we express gratitude by opening our lives to examination, refining, and correction. We express gratitude by seeking to live in right relationships with Creator, world, and self. Developing and expressing the attitude of gratitude then can become a spiritual discipline. The second is remembering the ancestors. In today's story, the ancestors are the particular individuals who stood out as model figures for the people. Verse 5 reads, "A wandering Aramean was my ancestor." Thanksgiving offers us opportunities to recall those who have gone before us. These may be treasured friends, beloved relatives, or others who left their imprints on our lives and the life of the community. Our gratitude extends to them because through their faith, they still speak and encourage us to work for a better world. We are challenged to remember global expressions in the ancestors who resisted them. The work of our ancestors is broadened through our faithful efforts. And the third is remembering the past. The past represents the events that shaped us directly and indirectly in recognized and unrecognized ways. We must struggle to remember the past so that we can learn the lessons of history and move toward a future with a greater sense of wisdom and appreciation of past struggles. When we ignore the past or fail to learn the lessons of history, then we are likely to repeat past tragedies on a different scale, usually on a higher scale. When we do not learn from the past, the future becomes the past revisited. This truth may be seen in experience of violence and oppression. The question has been asked, how can anyone who has experienced cruelty or harsh treatment oppress others? Yet this is exactly what can happen when an awareness of the past is denied or suppressed, dimmed or lost. When we become historically aware of our situation and take responsibility for it, we have a better chance to address and correct cruel practices and the damaging effects of past experiences. Thanksgiving and the season of creation provide opportunities for peaceful care at the individual, neighborhood, and societal levels. Thanksgiving provides opportunities for individuals to gather in faith communities, to remember and take responsibility for our collective history and our role in it. To do so can unleash liberating possibilities for social transformation. Pastoral care is not only for individual sufferers. It must extend to the communities and societies in which individuals and families live, move, and have their being. And that includes care for the natural environment. We are relational beings. We're born that way. We're born into relationships so that our care of persons and our care of nature are inseparable. Celebration and recitation can be powerful symbols of and witness to what God has done in our midst. We may gather to give thanks and confess past wrongs of commissions or omissions, to acknowledge personal and collective participation in the wider dramas of life, and to seek to amend our ways. This is our appropriate response to the generous God, who is ever ready to deliver us from various forms of bondage and give us resources beyond measure. And so be it. Don't forget that this week, go for that walk or look out your window, take your color swab with you to see if you can find that color in nature, and give thanks for all we have. Amen.
Amen.